Scale Up Nation, are you looking for a way to become an ASSE Certified Legionella Water Safety and Management Specialist? Well, if you're thinking about getting that certification, a class that you should consider is Special Pathogens Laboratory ASSE 12080 Preparatory course. This is put on by the experts of Special Pathogens Laboratory and IATMO. It is a virtual interactive class that includes a team of seasoned experts. This team of teaching experts will let you know what you need to know from their first-hand experience. I recently had the opportunity to take this class and I was so impressed. It's led by Dr. Janice Stout, and when I talk about a team of experts and all their firsthand information, I just got so much information from all the things that they have been doing for years. So if you're looking for a course where you can sit in and go ahead and get it done over a 3-day period, this is the course for you. They've already trained over 400 professionals and have one of the highest pass rates in the industry. Their next class is January 9th through 11th, and what a great way to start off the new year with a brand new shiny certification for yourself. To find out more, go to scalinguph2o.com/special. Once again, that's scalinguph2o.com/special. Welcome to Scaling Up H2O, the podcast where we scale up on knowledge so we don't scale up our systems. My name's Trace Blackmore, and I am here at the beginning of December, hoping you guys are having a good wrap up to quarter four. Quarter four, how the heck did that happen? It seems like we were just on lockdown. It was just 2020. We were trying to figure out how to deal with a pandemic, and now all of a sudden we're getting ready to say goodbye to 2022. I don't know where the time goes, but I will say it has been amazing trying to figure out a new economy, a new world, a new normal, all of those things with the Scaling Up Nation. Of course, we don't have to do life alone. The fact that we are all together, we're trying to figure out what it is that we all need, how we can help each other, that is tremendous. And it doesn't just stop here in the United States, where I'm from. We have listeners all over the globe. In fact, we had the most growth this quarter in Germany. So I don't know what's going on in Germany, but thank you so much for all the listeners over there that are tuning in to Scaling Up H2O. Just tremendous growth over there, and we have been posted in the top 3% of all podcasts out there. Simply amazing. I want to thank everybody in the Scaling Up Nation for allowing that to happen, for making that happen. You are the ones that are consuming the content and sharing it with other people out there. So thank you for that. One of the comments that I get all the time is, thank you for sharing what's going on in our industry. So I want to go ahead and mention a few things that are going on in our industry. And by the way, if you ever miss any of these, you can go to our events page at scalinguph2o.com. And we will have everything that I mentioned for you, and it is in a format that is very easy to find, and you can even click straight through to the event, and you can also make a calendar invite straight into your calendar so you can get everything done at that one-stop shop. So the first thing we're going to talk about is the Asia Pacific Smart Water Utilities Conference. That's going to be in Singapore, December 14th through 15th. So if you are in the global water community and you want to learn more about this conference, we'll have all of that at scalinguph2o.com and our events page. Also, one of my favorite organizations, BOMA. I was very active in BOMA in our hometown, and BOMA is just a great organization that stands for Building Owners and Managers Association. They're having their winter 2023 meeting January 20th through 23rd in Scottsdale, Arizona. Well, if you're going to have a winter meeting, why not have it in Scottsdale, Arizona? So this is where people can get together, they can network, they can get involved, they can participate in discussions and emerging trends and learn about all things best practices and the commercial real estate arena. So we'll have information for that all on our events section of our webpage. And then also one of my favorite events. Now, this is truly my number one favorite event. Twice a year, I get to go to wherever the AWT is having their technical training. I'm one of the trainers there. I get to meet so many of you out there in the Scaling Up Nation. So we got 2 opportunities to do that coming up in 2023. We have the San Diego version, which is February 21st through 24th. And then we have the Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania version, which is March 29th through April 1st. So if you go to our events page at scalinguph2o.com, we will have all the information so you can click through and find what you need to find about all of these events that I mentioned. And yes, even put an invite in your own calendar without leaving that page. Nation, today is going to be a fun show because one of the organizations that I have personally committed to for over 20 years of my life is the Association of Water Technologies. I had the privilege of being president of that organization. As I mentioned earlier, I am one of the trainers and I work at one of the committees to get the technical training going each and every year. I am crazy about the AWT. I've met so many wonderful people at the Association of Water Technologies. And of course, one of the things that the AWT does each and every year is they have a convention to showcase all the things that are going on in the water treatment world around the water treatment that I practice. And we listen to papers, we hear expert speakers, but we also get one place where pretty much every vendor, every supplier that we will ever come in contact with is under one roof, and we get to talk with them, see what new wares they have, and talk with them about solutions to possible issues that we are having in the field. Well, we did this just a few months ago in Vancouver, British Columbia. We were in Canada. And folks, it was beautiful. Several years ago, my family and I took an Alaskan cruise, and we actually left out of the same port that our hotel for AWT was attached to. It was so much cooler that we were able to walk around and see so much more of that city. Such a beautiful city. One of the best walking cities, I think, on the planet. So many miles of trails to hike. We truly enjoyed ourselves. And of course, that's not to mention how awesome the AWT Convention was. So I want to share a few things about the AWT Convention on this show today, about some of the things, if you weren't able to go, some of the things that you might have missed. And of course, it's not just going to be me that is talking about what's going on at AWT. I brought my recorder and I walked around the exhibit hall to see what other people were saying about the AWT and the convention itself. So I hope you enjoy today's episode where you're coming with me to Vancouver, where we're walking through AWT. I'm here with President-elect Steve Hallier, getting ready to take the office just hours from now. Steve, how are you enjoying the convention?
I'm having a great time. It's been a pleasantly surprised that it's been good of a turnout. I think everyone's pretty excited about the activity and the traffic, and I'd say it's been a challenge, but it's a success.
Well, it's definitely been beautiful. We could not have asked for a better landscape. You know, we saw cruise ships this week. They docked just feet from where we were meeting. So it's just fantastic. Vancouver's a beautiful city. But I'm curious, President, next year, what are some of the things that the listeners of the Scaling Up H2O podcast should expect from AWT?
Well, we're concentrating a lot on our training. So we're going to have basically 2 courses offered. One's going to be in Pittsburgh. The other's going to be in San Diego. So we're looking forward to that. We're looking forward to a phenomenal convention next year in Grand Rapids. I think we're going to hit a home run because historically that has been a great venue. It's a beautiful city. And the last time we were there, I believe it was about 5 years ago, we broke the record for the number of attendees. So we're really looking forward to that. as you may be aware or may not be aware, we had a bylaws vote and both motions were passed. So we've increased the upper limit of the size company that can be involved with AWT. And then also we implemented the individual membership. So we're looking for a surge in attendance and a surge in membership. And that will also equate to a larger convention. And I think we're looking for blue skies ahead compared to a little bit of the COVID downward. So
We're all excited to see that. Of course, being a past president, I know we only get things done when people can help us get things done. We're a volunteer organization. What do you need help with?
I'm glad you asked. Actually, we could use some volunteer help at every committee. We've got a number of different technical and business committees, and we're always looking for volunteers to help carry the load and come in and be active. Just really contribute some time and volunteer your services and obviously your knowledge, because we are a volunteer-run organization, and the more people that contribute, the better off we all are. It's almost like a rising tide rises all boats.
I like that. I don't know where you got that from, but I love that. Steve, I remember the first time I came to a convention. It was daunting, so many people. I didn't know anybody. And even if I wanted to volunteer for something, I had no idea how to do that. So if somebody's listening today and they said, I really want to get involved in this part of the AWT, what should they do?
Well, first off, I would make sure you're a member and join. And if you're not, ask your company to join. If they don't fit the criteria for the size of the company, they can always join as an individual. And then just volunteer. Talk to Angela Pike. She's with our management company, and she is very good at putting you in the area where you show interest. And just join in some committee calls. I mean, right now, in the old days, they were phone calls, and nowadays they're Zoom calls. So they're so much easier to attend, and they're on the calendar. And really, it's just very rewarding to be involved in some of these committees. It's been great.
Steve, what would you say your biggest takeaway was from this week?
Well, I mean, Vancouver is gorgeous. I've never been here before. The weather's just been spectacular except for today. But other than that, I think it's with the COVID and everything, it's really nice to get together with your, a room full of your peers and talk about the struggles you've had and actually get some good insight. One of the things that I really love about the convention is I have pretty much every one of my suppliers under one roof that I can go visit with and talk to them and find out what their new innovations are, their new strategies, their new products. It's just, to me, it's a big time saver, so that, normally if you're entertaining these suppliers on a regular basis, it could really eat up a lot of your time. And having them all under one roof is just amazing. One of my big benefits, or one of the big benefits that I see.
Well, Nation, it's always a treat when we get to talk with the AWT president. And I am so thankful that I get to call Steve Hallier a friend. He has just been amazing. He got on the board a couple of years ago. That's where I met Steve. Steve was one of the original Rising Tide Mastermind members. And it has just been amazing to get to know him better. And I consider Steve a friend. And Steve, good luck this year. The AWT could not be in better hands, and we are looking forward to see what you bring to our great organization. I'm here with Janice Shawl of AMSA. Janice, how's the convention going?
So far, so good. The traffic has been a little bit down, but what I'm finding is folks who are coming around the booths are spending a lot of quality time. They're not feeling pressured to move on. So I really appreciate that aspect. And I do appreciate a shout out to anybody who's coming down to the exhibit hall to support the exhibitors and sponsors. We really do appreciate that.
And we're in Vancouver, a beautiful city.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Beautiful convention hall. We're underneath these tent-like things.
Yes.
What is AMSA veiling in their wares this year?
Veiling in our wares. Well, we have our technology, which is an organic deposit cleaner dispersant. When you use it with a biocide, you have an effective biofilm control program. And this year we have a new product, which is a new formulation that allows folks to easily do a continuous feed program. So it is especially designed to work with oxidizing programs and continuous oxidizing programs, so that you can, with those surfaces being continuously clean, you can use hopefully less biocide, and your inhibitors will have a cleaner surfaces in which to do their job better. So it's just another tool or another way to use our chemistry, and I think that just expands out the uses, especially when you want to keep a system highly clean.
Well, thanks for sharing all that with us.
Yes, thank you.
Janice, thanks for chatting with us. Janice is always at the AWT. She always has a booth. She's always greeting her present customers and meeting new customers, and she's always a delight to speak with. I'm here with Stephanie Choury of Buckman. Stephanie, how is the show going for you?
The show has been amazing. Honestly, I was kind of worried that the attendance was going to be low, but it's been awesome. The traction has been great. The booth has had a ton of traffic, so it's been a great week.
And what are you showing in your booth this year?
So we are offering through Buckman our chemistries, as well as now we are giving you the opportunity to enhance your solutions with us with the digital side. So what that means is we're going to give you the complete solution of having the remote monitoring, the data that is going to be at your fingertips. So basically anything that you would need in the report side, as well as I think the biggest part of what we're selling through the Acumen platform is the remote monitoring, the IL team that's going to service you, be there hand in hand. So it's a great platform.
Sounds exciting. What's your biggest takeaway from this week?
I think the biggest takeaway is I'm excited that we as an organization have been able to get back together. It's nice seeing each other's faces and the network of support that we have. So I think, just the relationships, the opportunities that we've been able to continue to grow.
Steph Choury is always a delight to speak with. Now, you might remember she used to be with Aquaphoenix Scientific. We loved her over there. And of course, we love her over at Buckman. Whenever you stop by a booth that Steph is in, you are sure to walk away smiling. I'm here with Tom Marcone of Walchem. Tom, how's the show going?
Great show, great location, great venue. So happy to be part of AWT for many, many years, and we'll look forward to seeing everybody in Grand Rapids next year.
And you guys, of course, always have a beautiful booth. What are some of the things under the booth this year?
Intuition series of controllers, our 600 and 900s are awesome, state-of-the-art technology, and the best medium pumps on the market.
I think that's a cruise ship behind us we're hearing.
Yeah, it sure is. Let's get on, go to Alaska, Trace.
A big thank you to Tom and Walchem. Of course, Walchem has been one of our sponsors on the Scaling Up H2O podcast, and we're able to do so much more with the help of our sponsors that we are able to reach more people. Maybe we wouldn't have the New Germany listeners if we did not have some of our sponsors. It was at an AWT conference many, many years ago that I remember I remember exactly who it was. It was Mike Standish of Radical Polymers. He asked if I was ever going to open it up to sponsorship. And I told Mike I didn't know if that was something that I should do. And Mike told me, stop being selfish, was exactly what he told me. I was worrying about bringing something to the podcast that might weaken it, and it hasn't done that at all. In fact, it has allowed people like Mike and Walchem to do exactly what Mike was trying to make his point with, where the sponsors could help the Scaling Up H2O podcast so we could get our message out even further. We could update things like our website. We could hire staff to make things a lot better. So for all of our sponsors out there, I want to say thank you, because we are able to do so much more because you are supporting us. I'm here with Chelsea Farmer at the Radical Polymers booth. Chelsea, how's the convention going?
It's going very great. It's been a great show so far.
And what is Radical Polymers showing to all the members here at this year's AWT?
We're showing them our best-in-class products. Our most recent stint of research has been on looking at polymers as phosphonate replacements. So that's what we've been emphasizing this year.
Excellent. It's been a good show so far?
Very good. Been very, very busy. Met with a lot of people. Good to see a lot of our customers.
Great talking with you.
Yeah, thank you.
Now, I want to talk about Chelsea Farmer for a second. Now, I didn't plan to talk about Mike Standish, her dad, before I brought her interview up, but that's exactly what happened. Now, Chelsea most likely knew, because I think everybody knows about the awards before they get them. But later that night, where Chelsea was interviewed, and then just hours later in that evening, Chelsea accepted the Rising Star Award. The Rising Star Award is where the Association of Water Technologies specifically recognizes younger people within our industry who are having a tremendous impact. You might remember Laith Charles was the first recipient of this award last year, and Laith came on the podcast and shared all about that award. So Chelsea, congratulations. And of course, that night we had several awards, some other awards to mention. Pyxis received the Innovative Award. Of course, Pyxis, another sponsor of this podcast. And the Innovative Award is something innovative that has helped change our industry. So congratulations to Pyxis. AP Tech was the Supplier of the Year. And then Gary Garcia was the Raybaum Memorial Water Treater of the Year Award recipient. Of course, you might remember Gary was on the show back in August of 2021, where he was episode 206. Gary just stepped down off the AWT Board of Directors. Gary, congratulations. The highest award somebody can get in our industry, and it is well deserved. Congratulations to everybody that won an award at this AWT Vancouver convention. So I just found Jill Cavano of Scranton Associates, a huge supporter of the Scaling Up H2O podcast. As a matter of fact, the official booth where people can get their Scaling Up H2O buttons. Thank you for doing that. Jill, how are you?
Good. How are you, Trace?
Always good. One of my favorite events to attend all year long. What are some of the things that you're talking to people about here about Scranton?
Well, Scranton Associates is having a great convention in Vancouver. It's a beautiful city. It was nice to really see everybody. One thing I like about how we go to different locations is that we get to see, all of our West Coast friends and colleagues this time. So it's been nice.
And this is the most west we've gone, I guess with the exception of Hawaii.
I believe so, in Palm Springs.
That's right. Is this more west? We got to get a map out and check the latitude, longitude, whatever one that is.
You might be right. One of the things that I was really happy is got to listen to and meet Drew Dudley, the keynote speaker, in person. So that was very exciting. I actually have a picture for you and Corinne.
Thank you for that. Of course, Corinne, our producer on the Scaling Up H2O podcast. Yeah, Drew did a book called This Is Day One, and we got the pleasure of reading that in the Rising Tide Mastermind. And he not only came on to digest the book, he actually introduced the book when we introduced it at the live event. So he's been great with the mastermind.
He really has. That was something that I'm very glad I got to see him in person.
You're a member of the Rising Tide Mastermind, and every week we try to figure out how can we help each other with their issues. What are the issues that we all have in common? And a little piece of that would be the business owners meeting that AWT does and that you are the chair of. I think a very successful business owners meeting we had on Tuesday. What's going to happen next year for the business owners meeting?
Well, thanks for asking, Trace. The business owners meeting next year is going to be Tuesday, October 3rd. It's going to be the day before the convention in Grand Rapids officially starts. And I feel like the committee, the Business Resources Committee, had the best business owners meeting we've ever had. I really think, and I heard a lot of feedback from people, that the panels that we had at the meeting really fostered, togetherness and dialogue. And I feel like everybody had the same business issue. I think as a business owner, you can feel isolated. So whether it's through AWT with the business owners meeting or through the Rising Tide Mastermind, the more that you can talk and network and dialogue with other owners, the less isolated you feel, and the more that you feel that everybody has the same problems and the same challenges. And I got so much good feedback, and my committee did as well, about all of the wonderful panels and discussions. And I think people were very vulnerable, and I feel like everybody walked away excited and that they had learned a lot. I feel this next business owners meeting, putting the pressure on the business resources committee, I feel like all we do is every year we just build. And I feel with all of the great feedback and committee members that we have, that every year it just gets more and more relevant. And we do plan on having panels. Many people asked if Tom Brandvold can moderate again next year.
Yeah, he did a great job, didn't he?
He's agreed to do that for next year.
Well, awesome. Jill, thank you for all you do for this association, and thanks for chatting with us.
Thank you, Trace.
Well, of course, that was Jill Cavano. You've heard Jill several times on this podcast. Most recently was April 29th of this year, episode 249, where Jill talked about what it was like to run a fourth generation company. And of course, that's Scranton Associates. Jill is also a mastermind member. She was one of the original members that helped me start the Rising Tide Mastermind. So Jill, always a delight when you can come on the Scaling Up H2O podcast. So my last interview is with the upcoming president for the next year. Here's Noah Baskin. I just found Noah Baskin in the exhibit hall. Noah, President-elect, congratulations.
Thank you very much, Trace.
What do we have to look forward to with the new upcoming AWT year?
I think we have to look forward to a really robust convention, a great location that has historically brought big numbers. I think there's pent-up demand for going to convention. I think that that's really going to be one of the best conventions ever. You know, we've seen a lot of really strong presence in the business owners meeting, which has, brought a lot of life into it. And I just think it's going to be a really good year, especially coming off of this convention, which I think was, it worked out. I see a lot of people's interests, but I think there's a lot of people that are really missing it and are looking forward to next year.
So next year is Grand Rapids. I think we did a duck race a couple years ago when we were there. Any special activities like that?
Not on the agenda yet, but I'm sure there's going to be some good ones planned. We're going to start working on that right after this.
You mentioned the business owners meeting. For listeners that don't know about that, how could they not know about that and listen to this podcast? But just in case there are a few out there, what is the business owners meeting?
Business owners meeting is brought on by the Business Resources Committee, and it's just really a place for all the business owners to get together, share ideas, get really good insights. I mean, it was eye-opening this week, the way that, we interacted as a group and were able to selflessly give information of the things that we've succeeded at, the things that we failed at, and really just share that information amongst everyone. It brought a lot of value. And I saw it in the room and I heard the results. And, Tom Brandvold did an amazing job of just pulling information out of all people in the room to really get ideas that you can use and get traction on.
Well, as a former past president, I want to say thank you for your service.
We thank you, Trace. You're always willing to help out the industry and the AWT, and we appreciate it.
I always love getting AWT royalty on the Scaling Up H2O podcast. So Noah, we can't wait for all the things that you bring in the following year. So we have Steve, we have Noah. Nation, the AWT is in great hands. And I also want to point out that on an episode a couple of months back, I had made a comment that the AWT does not always share the information that the liaisons for all of our related trade organizations as well as they used to. As soon as that show aired, I got a phone call from board member Kyle Rossi, and he said, "We hear you, we understand it, we already knew it, and we are working on it." So I just want to say, I think it's great that the people that serve at the Association of Water Technologies are not only giving their time, they are listening to the members. So you guys are doing a great job. And I also want to say that the Vancouver convention was amazing. I know there were some people that could not attend because it was a little bit further than they wanted to travel, and there were some restrictions going on. But for those of us that did attend, it was fantastic. It could not have been more beautiful weather. And I cannot wait to see you all next year in Grand Rapids, Michigan. That's right. The next convention is going to be during the first week of October 4th through 7th in Grand Rapids, Michigan. You know I will be there. I can't wait to see you there, and maybe we'll do some more interviews. Well, Nation, we're not quite done with the show yet. I want to make sure that we bring on our favorite professor. Yes, here's another Thinking on Water with James.
Welcome to Thinking on Water with James, the segment where we don't give you the answers, we give you the topics and questions for you to think about, drop by drop. Now let's get to it. In this week's episode, we're thinking about the purpose of the slow and fast rinse of softener regeneration. After the brine draw, why are these two different flow rates of rinse required? Why not just a slow rinse or just a fast rinse? What is being accomplished with each? What is the impact if either step is too long or too short? What is the proper flow rate of each? Can you measure the flow rate? Take this week to think about the purpose of the slow and fast rinse of softener regeneration. Be sure to follow hashtag TOW22 and hashtag ScalingUpH2O to share your thoughts on each week's Thinking on Water. I'm James McDonald, and I look forward to learning more from you.
Thanks for that, James. And James is somebody that I met from the Association of Water Technology. So here's my challenge to all of you out there in the Scaling Up Nation. Are you putting yourself in a situation where you are learning more about your craft? Are you challenging yourself by maybe working on something with the committee or a project, or just something a little bit more than your day-to-day where you're giving back to this great community we call industrial water treatment? Well, maybe the AWT is the place for you to go to fulfill those items. Maybe another organization similar to the AWT is where you need to go. My ask for you is that you realize that things do not happen without volunteers when it comes to all these organizations like the Associations of Water Technologies. So my call to action to each one of you is to find a place that you can serve. Find a place that you can help. Find a place that you can grow, because I promise when you do, you're going to meet people like James McDonald. And James McDonald, he painstakingly creates a segment on our podcast each and every week because he cares about the Scaling Up Nation. He cares about the water treatment industry, and he cares about our friendship. He wants to make sure that we are all raising the bar one water treater at a time. If you want friendships like that, I tell you, they are within the organizations that need our help. Nation, I can't wait to bring you another episode next Friday. Until then, have a great week, folks. Scaling Up Nation, if you keep doing the same things, you're going to get the same results. And that's why joining a mastermind like the Rising Tide Mastermind is a game changer in allowing you to achieve different and better results. You have an entire team that combines to help you get to where you want to go. The Rising Tide Mastermind is the catalyst to your next level of success. To find out more about the Rising Tide Mastermind, go to scalinguph2o.com/mastermind.